got up early on the Sunday morning and travelled from Anglesey down to Silverstone. And to be honest, the only reason that I went down was because it was Rossi's last British Grand Prix. Aside from that, I wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have been desperate to make I don't know how many miles. I probably did like 500 mile that day, or maybe more. But yeah, I was pleased to pop down to see Rossi's last Grand Prix, and it was a sort of nice atmosphere, especially at the end of the race when he pulled up, and sort of it almost felt a bit emotional, like a sort of farewell. But
yeah, it was a nice touch, wasn't it, with the Grazie Valley on the tarmac?
Yeah, and he had a big stand at turn one, and all around the fans, there was just yellow. It was a sea of yellow, and I think they said there was 67,000 there, which I was surprised. It seemed like more when you were trackside.
Was there a COVID limit on that?
Well, I think there must have been, because they said it was sold out, but sold out for Formula One is 140,000, isn't it?
So I didn't really get why the limit is to 60.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was probably Dorna maybe that I put that on, but I don't know.
But aside from that, I've got to say, I've been to a few Grand Prix at Donington over the years, and for me, Silverstone just doesn't cut the mustard as a spectator. I was watching it down at Beckett's, and although it was like as good grandstand seats as you can get in the, you can see all through Maggots Beckett's onto the Hanger Straight. Then you also see them when they come back to the wing. You've got the TV. It's the sort of, one of the best seats in the house, but you're that far away from the track. It's for me, the joy of going to a Grand Prix is those are the best bikes and the best riders in the world, and to get to sort of feel the noise, the speed, the smell, and it's, to me, it was,
you're miles away, aren't you?
You were miles away, and it's because
you were.
Like,
I was on the grid.
I'm looking for
right behind them. There, it was amazing.
I wish I could have swapped, but from if you're watching the Formula One there, like say turn one at Silverstone's flat in a Formula One car, so even though to me Formula One isn't an amazing spectacle, to see an engineering going, like a piece of engineering going that fast, it's almost like defying gravity. That's impressive. So maybe not the overtaking that we get with bike racing, but it's sort of impressive to see cars going around corners at like 180 mile an hour. The Formula One bikes are lapping 30 seconds a lap slower than Formula One cars. So it doesn't
unbelievable amount of time, isn't it?
Oh, massive. It doesn't look that fast when you're trackside, and when it's the best riders and the best bikes in the world, to me it doesn't do it justice. Where if you sat on the top of Craner curves and you're seeing the bikes coming down the top of Craner, sliding, you're much close, like up through Schwantz, you feel like you're almost right next to the track. It's just such a better occasion. Yeah, all the crowd are packed in, and for me, I would love to see a return to Donington.
Here's a question for the pair of you. You can go first. If you could pick any track on the calendar, where would you put a MotoGP race? If you could pick any track. Not you.
I think for me, because obviously, you could put a MotoGP bike on Cadwell and it wouldn't do anything more than what any other bike would do at Cadwell, because they're limited by the track at Cadwell, aren't you? Massively. But then I think for me...
No, as a spectator...
I love Brands Hatch. Brands is such a good track to spectate.
I thought that must have been on the GP calendar back in the day. It
was on World Supers, wasn't it?
For years, yeah, but it's, in terms of safety, you would have to say it's not as safe as Donington.
Donington's a great one. I was at the last MotoGP at Donington. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was just mega.
I've got to say, credit where credit's due as well. Since MSVR took over Donington, the track in terms of facilities is just...
They know how to do tracks, don't they?
Yeah, they've stepped it up such a massive amount. Garage 39 at the bottom, making that into a cafe, and it's like as cool as you can get with a Formula One car. The food's good. All the facilities are brilliant, all re-tarmacked, electric. All the grass in the middle, that used to be like a bit of a bomb site. It's perfectly cut grass. It's ready for
it's a bike track as well, isn't it?
Is it going to go back?
I don't know. I'm not sure, because there was that thing where Circuit of Wales had the lease for years, and then I don't know where it's at. I'm not sure.
I think they struggled with funding, didn't they, or something?
Probably.
And then they tried a Circuit of Ireland.
Yeah, there's been a few of them. But and another thing for the Grand Prix, its cheapest entry ticket for Sunday was 95 quid, which I think is quite steep. But on top of that...
Look at him just smiling going, I get paid to be there.
I work for a charity. 95 quid is a lot of money.
On top of that, the car parking, 35 quid.
Jesus,
35 quid to park your car. I think that's taken... You basically got them by the balls, and then 35 quid. You know, even I would say £10 or £15 taking the biscuit. 35 is through the roof. And I was very fortunate to get a ticket from a friend, but when I turned up...
say, son, did you have to go? But I'm changing my career.
Yeah, when I,
is that Chrissy from the podcast? Oh yeah, got a ticket for you.
Rolling in the cheddar, that boy.
Perks of the pod. But anyway,
perks of the pod. Oh, there's my ticket.
When I went to get there, you couldn't buy a parking ticket because it was sold out. So I'm expecting a fine, which will be 55 quid. So yeah, I thought that was taking the mick a little bit.
I love this. The amount of listeners who have paid over the 100, over the 30, and you're whinging about a 55 ticket.
Grandstand tickets were 100. Well, I just think, you know, if it was a family, like let's say if it was a family of 5, so like say my mum, dad, and me and my 2 sisters went, that is an unbelievably expensive day out. If you're getting grandstand tickets, it's like 150 quid.
Should have added camping in as well. I think it was about 70 quid per head. Not per plot. I think it was 70 quid a head, and I think you paid for...
And they had 67,000 people sold out.
And that was per head per night.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that as well, the...
so they've made some money.
Yeah, come road racing, you don't pay now.
You can't really get any food or anything for less than like a tenner. I don't drink alcohol, but I know alcohol prices were like through the roof there. To me, it was... there was... And to be honest, to be perfectly honest, I don't think Silverstone gets the best out of the race, and it was a bit of a parade. And in all honesty, the races were average at best, to be honest.
This is what makes the sort of British Superbike series and the support races probably the best. For me, you've got Worlds, obviously, which is now getting a bit spiced up with, you know, Top Rack, Red and Johnny Ray, but MotoGP's kind of lost its way a little bit, and I think what they've done with the British Superbikes and the support races has just made it the best one to watch.
Definitely, yeah.
You get so much more for your money going to because the schedule's so tightly packed throughout the day. There's so much good racing in all the classes. It's...
I've got to be honest, one of my my favourite parts of the day was pulling into the circuit and all the we're stuck in traffic and all the bikers come through, and seeing there was loads of people with like the girlfriends, the wives and the kids on the back
who didn't want to be there,
and flying
not
through,
all on the same bike either.
Yeah, all on, all like leathered up, and like there was revving engines and stuff, and I thought it's great to see like a community of bikers together. But for me, get it back to Donington and it'll be 10 times better. One positive, which I've got to say was this was the best thing I've ever seen coming out of a racetrack. They closed all of the roads coming in, like heading towards Silverstone. So pulling out of Silverstone, there's 67,000 people there. And literally not one bit of traffic to get back to the M1.
I hit no traffic getting out.
It was unbelievable. So
super.
I've got credit where credit's due. The road management is top notch. The rest of it wasn't too good.
I don't know. I had a great view. I had a great time.